We're hearing some comments, very interesting ones actually, from a PBOC advisor issuing a rare critique of Beijing's economic policies for being overly conservative and urging the government to ramp up fiscal stimulus and promote inflation. For more, let's get to our China correspondent Minmin joining us. We're talking about some of these comments from Huang Yiping. What did he have to say?
Yeah, Huang Yiping is a very important figure in Chinese economy. Dave, you know, he is the former chief economist at Barclays and Citi as well. He's now a dean at Peking University. And he is now calling for the government to set a firm inflation target of between 2 and 3%. Now, China already has an inflation target of 3%, but obviously the government has been prioritizing growth over inflation. So the current inflation is just hovering above zero. And this guy is saying, look, we need to elevate the inflation target to the same level as the growth target. And he says that the big problem in the Chinese economy now is that the macroeconomic policy is too cautious, and there is a reluctance and inability among local governments to enforce these stimulus measures because of fiscal constraints, because of that property downturn that led to these deflationary pressures and even recessionary pressures among households, enterprises, banks, and local governments. So he's calling for cash handouts to households and migrants that are moving to the cities to encourage them to consume more. So it's quite rare actually to hear such a strong critique of the economy, because the space for public debate has been narrowing in recent years. And just recently as well, the former chief editor of Global Times, he was banned, that's Hu Xijin, banned from posting on social media after he posted something about giving equal footing to private enterprises. So it's just becoming more and more sensitive these days.
Yeah, I think it was a post on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, just this weekend too. More broadly though, on some of the longer-term reforms, you know, we're getting more and more a drip feed of these conversations. So this 5-year plan on urbanization, what do we know? Because this is a fairly big deal as well.
Yeah, it is quite a big deal. So the government is now asking local governments to provide more social services for migrants living in cities, for the permanent residents there, rather than only those who have the household registrations or hukou tied to the city. So there are about 177 million migrant workers, about a third of the urban working population. Most of these migrant workers have their hukou or household registration tied to their home provinces back in the rural areas or other places. That means they cannot access social services in the cities. Their kids may not be able to get a space in a public school in the cities. So what this plan does is 3 things. Number one, it could make the migrants feel that they can cut down on their precautionary savings, so more consumption, good for the economy. The second thing is, if they can, you know, access social services there, the kids can go to school there, maybe they want to bring their kids over, maybe they want to upgrade their housing. So the plan calls for government to provide more subsidized housing, more public rental homes, so that helps to clear up some of that excess housing inventory, so good for the property market. And the third thing is, as more people come to the cities and they make use of the transport services, the healthcare services, then the government need to invest in upgrading the hard and soft infrastructure. So more government investment, again, good for the economy. So it's a big stimulus plan in disguise. And this has been talked about for a long time now, but it hasn't really taken off because of the fiscal constraints of the local governments. They cannot afford to absorb all these migrants that are going to take advantage of the free social services. So the government is now going to link the central fiscal transfers to the urbanization rate. They're going to give them more land allocation if they absorb more migrants as well.